The United States is now the world's largest oil producer. Oil production has gone up every year since 2018. The problem? About 50% of our oil is being sold to other countries. In fact, more oil was exported than imported in 2023, for the first time since World War II. The U.S. uses 20.28 million barrels a day, produces 20.08 million barrels a day. If not for the fact we export about half of our oil, we could be oil independent. But why is almost half of our oil being sold overseas? In 2015, Congress lifted a selective ban on U.S. oil exports. At the time, a review by the Government Accounting Office stated that repealing this ban allowed U.S. crude oil producers to charge higher prices relative to comparable foreign crude oil. It is easy to understand that if oil companies can get a higher price on the global market, they will. Since this ban was repealed, every time the global oil price spikes by OPEC cutting production, Americans pay more at the pump. Only if the global supply increases from other sources, or there is a fall in demand, does the gas price fall when there is an OPEC production cut. And the reason it fell in 2020 to $2 a gallon was oversupply caused by a severe market crash. In order to save the United States economy from this severe crash, which also crashed the stock market, Donald Trump negotiated the largest oil cut in history between Russia and Saudi Arabia.
This weekend, the United States also helped facilitate an unprecedented agreement among the 23 nations of OPEC+. That's OPEC plus additional energy-producing nations, representing many of the world's largest oil-producing countries to stabilize oil markets. And we have, in fact, and I think you've seen a big stabilization over the last couple of days. Together, countries around the world will cut oil production by approximately 20 million barrels. People are saying 10 million, but we think that the number that they'll actually hit is going to be closer to 20.
Ultimately, Trump negotiated a cut of 10 million barrels a day, not 20. This was to correct an extreme oversupply problem. Many believe this oversupply was caused only because of the coronavirus lockdowns, but that is not the only reason. It was also caused by the Russian-Saudi Arabian oil price war. However, there is one important fact the majority of the mainstream media missed. The price war began because of one impulsive action. Only 15 days before a scheduled OPEC meeting, Donald Trump levied sanctions against Russia's largest oil company, Rosneft, because of trade with Venezuela. He did this after being warned by the Department of Treasury this action could destabilize the oil markets. When the OPEC meeting occurred, Putin walked out, which began the price war. According to this report in The Voice of America, Putin walked out because of the advice of his close friend and ally, Igor Sechin, the president of the company Trump just sanctioned. If Trump had waited only a few more weeks to impose these sanctions, the president of Rosneft might not have suggested the walkout, and the oil cut not been as severe. And remember, the former president suggested an oil cut twice as much, 20 million barrels a day. Imagine what you would have paid at the pump, and how bad inflation would have been if he had gotten his way. In comparison, the Keystone Pipeline was less than 1 million barrels a day, a large percentage also sold overseas. At that time, Donald Trump said a rise in gas prices were good, because the oil export ban was lifted in 2015. The largest oil cut in history, negotiated by Donald Trump, hurt our wallets more. And we will continue to suffer, no matter who is president, until Congress passes a suitable replacement to the export ban. We must stop half of our oil from being shipped overseas.